Hello everyone, CPAC coming at you with a doubleheader of Exceed today. We just casted a match between Frothy and Silver Hakero. You can check that out. Actually, I feel like if this match is shorter, maybe this one... I'll upload both of them at the same time, and maybe that one will come out first, in which case this will sound weird. But we have a little bit of a doubleheader here. Now we have Chykka against Elegance in Action, aka Poltergeist. Not to be confused with Poltergeist, like I did for a bit. I thought they were the same person, but apparently they're not. They're two different people. I think we made that joke in the commentary where Fakey joined us, so we are now recycling content here. Game 1 already underway. We have Cyrus here. It's weird how my zoom was kind of scuffed there. Was that small. Don't really know what's going on there, but looks good now. Taking on Hazama here. Hazama. So we got a little bit of a season 2, season 5 mix-up here. Season 2, season 5 matchup here. Both these characters like a little bit of space in between them. Hazama, of course, really likes. I think Hazama really likes that range 2, range 3. And Cyrus a little bit of a zoner here. He's got 3 separate fireballs in Arya, Siren Call, and Albatross Talon. Both these characters actually have a speed 6 range 3 move. Hazama with the Falling Fang. Sorry, it took a while to find that. And Tidal Roll on Cyrus. That's a little bit of an interesting matchup there. Yeah, this should be a good one. Both these characters don't like being super close. Cyrus maybe prefers being a little bit further back than Hazama. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Personally, I don't have a ton of experience with Cyrus. I have some experience with Hazama. I think Hazama's a really strong character. Personally, I put him in A tier. I do that just because you can really do no wrong with the character. The character has choices, right? There are ways to spend your resources, whether that be gauge, whether that be force, etc., etc. Whether that be your physical cards, like how to spend an ultra, for example. But I think all the ways that Hazama spends cards, like there's no bad way to spend Hazama's cards, in my opinion. So that's why I think that character is actually really good. As Hazama crosses out of the Siren Call, so it's not going to work. So Cross will put him at range 6, and then Siren Call will bring him back. A little bit of a mix-up there, because the other 2 fireballs do not hit, right? So Albatross Talon's a 2-5. Aria of the Winds also 2-5. You kind of have to guess a little bit there. Poltergeist going for the Cross, which beats 2 of the 3 options, along with Dive. I don't think Cyrus would dive there, but possibility. Unfortunately, does not work out. Gets hit with the Siren Call and is stunned, so gets pulled to range 2. Prep. But yeah, Hazama is a character that can function well no matter what kind of decision you make. Looks like we have a draw 3 and strike here. Check out my snake. This is what I'm talking about. Like this ultra, super good. The boost also super good. Right, so that's actually what I really like about Hazama. Just that a lot of this, I think he's actually probably the easiest season 5. Is that a hot take? He's the easiest season 5 character to play. I think he is the easiest season 5 character to play because you can really do no wrong. But Hazama initiating range 2, no Ouroboros in play. Looks like the Cross will beat the Hungry Coils. Nice little bit of a read here from Chykka, playing on curve against the under curve Hungry Coils, which is a little bit. We'll just find this card here, which is a little. It's a little bit high reward there. At range 3 is on curve, range 2 under curve, but you get positioning, you get a random card, and you get advantage on top of that. So this card's actually pretty loaded. Look at that boost. That boost also very good. Reduces force costs for things like the innate or some of these boosts. Actually, all these boosts are free, but the actual attacks are not. Hazama actually has a lot of force specials. It's interesting. I believe he's the only character with 3 force specials. Looks like Cyrus just prepped in response to that. So we have an Ouroboros coming out from Hazama. So we can take a look at this. So when you initiate a strike, after setting your attack, you may spend 1 force. If you do, place one of your Ouroboros cards in space at range 1 to Hazama. So Hazama will place an Ouroboros here. And notably, this is different from a before effect. So when cards are revealed after being set in combat, Hazama will teleport there for free, basically. It's not a before effect where he has to be faster than his opponent. It just happens. Pretty sick. Has its ups and downs in theory, but like super super strong. So yeah, Hazma doesn't really have a ton of range 4 options. He only has the Venom Sword, along with Dive, which everyone else has. Hazma has a ton of range 3 options, right? So he has Rising Fang, which he discarded 1 for this Ouroboros. Could be a bait for the second one, maybe. He has Falling Fang. Nope, it just opts for the simple sweep. And obviously he dashes forward. So yeah, sweep gets blocked here. Block pretty safe, only losing to the... Actually, not pretty safe. Loses to the spike. Actually, relatively safe. I mean, loses spike, obviously. Be careful when you're initiating against a range 2, because Ozma does have a 6 power ignore guard. So at range 2, these blocks aren't as nearly as free as they are at range 3, with only the spike being the major threat as far as blowing up blocks go. Yeah, looks like Chykka will discard an Ultra, generate 2 Force, which equates to 4 armor on top of the 2, and will take nothing. Gets a card pulled out from there. That's the card underneath. I missed what it was. It's Cyrus prepping again. So a lot of prep actions coming out from Cyrus after that turn 1 Fireball. Obviously, preferring to have a good amount of cards against Hazma, who can remove cards super easily with this boost. Having fun yet? The answer, this of course being a rhetorical question, the answer to which is no, you're not having fun. And this boost is wild. Like, look at that. That's insane. So basically, you can drop Ultras on this, and Ultras force your opponent to discard 2 cards at random. So yeah, I mean, just another example of a card that, like, the Ultra's fine, the boost's also fine. Both are good decisions, right? Depending on what you need, right? You have a ranged 6-speed super ranged attack, as Poltergeist sets an EX attack, kind of scary. A couple options down here. No Ouroboros. I don't think this is the Falling. I don't think this is Falling Fang. I think Falling Fang is too good of a card to EX this early. And I think if you get hit by EX Falling Fang this early, it's not even going to catch the life deficit up. You totally take that. I think you ignore the Falling Fang side of the mix-up and try to deal with other things. Things like Spike, things like even Dive, no Ouroboros, so nothing like Devouring Fang. EX Devouring Fang with the Ouroboros would be super scary here. That possibility. Not Hungry Coils. So yeah, in theory, this looks super scary, but it, to me, just looks like an Assault Dive Spike mix-up, if I'm being 100% honest. And you don't really care about getting hit by EX Falling Fang this early in the game, in my honest opinion. So Focus against the EX Assault. Yep, there we go. Hazma closes into range 1. We'll do 3 damage after armor, and we'll take 3 back in response. Wasn't he at 23? Yeah, okay, good. You caught that. I actually caught that before I posted. Yep, EX Assault has the 1 armor, so Hazma will only take 3 damage. A little bit expensive spending both the assaults so early. EX Assault, just a super good option. Maybe less relevant on defense against a character like Cyrus, who has a 3 range 6-speeder. Especially when you have your own 3 range 6-speeder, as a parry coming out from Chykka. Pairing Focus. Okay, interesting. Not in hand. So look at this hand. We have 0, 3, 4, 7, 7 Rising Fang. A lot of normals in there. I'm expecting a parry focus, even though 1 focus is in the gauge. This kind of hand, I feel like you have to parry the focus here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Either you parry the focus or you change cards. I definitely prefer parrying the focus here, personally. You do have EX Grasp. But yeah, you think you parry the focus here for sure. Poltergeist looks like he likes keeping the Ouroboros in hand. That's interesting. We just ran into Frothy, who was keeping the whatchamacallit, the Graviton in hand. Similar thing here with Poltergeist keeping the Ouroboros in hand. I like it. Although I guess Poltergeist has 2, so he actually has to shuffle between them. You don't really have to shuffle a Graviton. And yes, so this face down boost comes from Cyrus's innate. After resolving an instant boost, you can put it into play as a face down continuous boost that reads hit, add this card to your gauge. Okay, Poltergeist saying, hey, don't, only 5 in 23 chance that you have this focus in hand. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore the threat and instead boost defend. Cyrus now prepares, maybe trying to dig a little bit for that focus. And of course, keeping a high hand is good against Hazama because of the aforementioned having fun yet boost. Tex the face down hit at the gauge. Okay, that's a creative way to get rid of your dive. I will say that. That is a creative way to get rid of your dive. You don't get the most value, but Cyrus is a season 2 character. Doesn't really have instant boost, right? To parry besides the normals. If we look at his cards here, or continuous boost to tech, right? So all of his boosts on his specials and ultras are actually instant boosts and not continuous boosts. So the continuous boosts that Cyrus has are on things like grasp, things like sweep, that kind of deal. And of course the continuous boost that he places with his innate ability. So interesting use of dive there. I actually quite like it. A little bit out of the box thinking there from Poltergeist. Big fan of that. We're a big fan of thinking outside the box here on this channel. So a little cute play like that gets my attention, and I do appreciate it. Looks like Cyrus boosting Silver Shadow will get himself out of the corner, move to range 3. Also goes down as a face down hit at to gauge, obviously, like all the other instant boosts. And yeah, Hazama, and like I said before, Hazama and Cyrus, both strong characters at range 3. So it should be an interesting one here. Maybe Hazama is inclined to strike into this, if I had to guess. One thing I really like to do a lot as Hazama is actually just wild swing a lot. Because a lot of your wild swings, you have really good wild swing consistency with the amount of 4 specials that you have. And I just like wild swing on Hazama, man. It's free because you don't spend a card from your hand, and it just works way more than you would think that it does. At like range 3, it just works a lot. And you have the innate mix-up coming out from your deck, right? Instead, boosting Bloody Fangs, now draw 1. If the opponent is stunned, draw 2. Interesting. Okay. I prefer this as a combat card, but I just like ignore armors in general in this game. I like the kind of mid-speed, read heavy cards, but this boost is perfectly fine. The real reward is after the combat, though, because if the opponent's stunned, you get to draw 2 more cards on top of that. But the boost is fine. It's not bad. Would have actually preferred something like maybe like an Ouroboros here, and then play that card as a combat card this combat. But I mean that's a little bit of a risky play. Poltergeist obviously opting for this, which is totally okay and probably even better. Back to Cyrus's turn now. Both these players with full hands. Cyrus with a bit of a life lead, boosting power on top of his other face down continuous boost, which is just a gauge builder. Boosts power on top of it. So yeah, I mean the threats are obvious here, right? I mean Albatross Talon ignores guard. Spike is a threat, obvious, like Spike's always a threat at range 3. Things like EX Assault. We saw EX Assault come out from the Hazama side. EX Assault could be a card here. Tidal World, the aforementioned range 3 speed 6 move that we love to highlight on this channel. Although Hazama can strike with his own copy of that card. We'll obviously have to be worried about the EX possibility coming out from Cyrus. 7 cards in hand, 14 in deck. Not a high percentage, but not low enough to ignore, in my opinion. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Polter looking into outer space here over there. Don't know what's up with that. Thinking a little bit. Goes for the reading. Okay, this could be a big play here. Sets a card. Any Ouroboros? No Ouroboros. Reading is successful, and it's going to be the Falling Fang diffusing the threat into the dive. So this is really kind of I'm going to try to attempt to neutralize the boosts here. Hazama doesn't really want... Oh, yeah, and on top of that, the draw too. So yeah, this is Hazama ending the boost war decisively with the reading there. Good play. Reading successful. I believe both dives were left in the deck, so relatively high percentage. Like, what? So there were 7 cards in Cyrus's hand and 14 in the deck. So the chances of having 1 copy of dive is equivalent to the chances of... It's 1 minus the chances of not having any dives in hand. And the chance of having no dive in hand was like basically equivalent to 2 and 3 squared. So like close enough to like 4 and 9. So that was like what, like a 55% chance for reading. I don't know if I'm doing that math correctly. But like we'll just say a 60% chance reading there. But works out there for Cyrus. And on top of that, the Falling Fang was always going to hit. The main reason for that was so that you don't get hit back, and so he gets the stun off. So yeah, a little bit of a risky focus there, but that's how you gotta use your focuses, man. That's how you gotta use your readings there. It's optimal. The one thing I don't like about reading is that it feels like it's optimal to play reading when it's not 100% guaranteed, and it feels bad either way. But yeah, Hazama getting that reading down, diffuses a threat, gets extra cards off that. And yeah, it looks like Cyrus... I don't know what Cyrus did on his turn. Oh, Falling Fang gets you advantage. So that's what's going on there. Just zooming on that card real quick. Yeah, Falling Fang gets you advantage, and with the advantage, Polter boosts power at the range 3 that we were talking about earlier. Is something that's Hazama likes. Back to Chykka now on the Cyrus, boosting +2 speed in response. Very good response there. Yeah, let's see what Hazama does in response to the +2 speed. I don't expect a strike here. I expect a boost in response. Okay, Polter looking, seeing how he could react to the +2 speed. Notably has a sweep in the gauge already. I would assume if Polter had a +2 speed of his own, it would come out now. In response to Cyrus's +2 speed. Maybe I'm mistaken in that claim, but I would assume it comes out now in a lot of cases. With Polter already having invested a little bit into the combat with the +2 power. Don't think there's a strike on the table here into that +2. That +2 speed's too threatening to strike into, in my opinion. Tech would have come out instantly, I think, so I don't think Polter has the tech. Although maybe I'm mistaken in that it would come out instantly. Maybe he's just thinking whether I can handle the +2 speed at this time, or maybe he wants to save the tech for other reasons. Although he used 1 tech on the base down continuous boost for gauge. So we saw him use a tech pretty aggressively there. So he likes doing... We can kind of assume that he likes teching kind of aggressively there. Against Cyrus, excuse me. Not there in that particular scenario, but against Cyrus, against Chykka, against any character. Who knows? Yeah, Polter really thinking about this one. The +2 speed's no joke. Cyrus has Spike, and on top of that, he has Albatross Talon as well, which ignores guard. So those are your slow, scary options. And then you have your fast, reliable options like Assault and Title Whirl. And even Aria, I believe it's called. Yeah, Aria of the Winds. There you go. Fast options there. Hazama on defense does have a card like Rising Fang, which was known in hand, which is when you initiate with that, it gives you relatively good defense. Okay, interesting. So this is spicy. I think this is a spicy boost in my opinion. Spells confidence really for Poltergeist to be playing a boost like this into a +2 speed. This is saying he's happy with the boost situation as is. Like he's happy with Cyrus having that +2 power, and says, "Hey, I will like daring even I would dare say this boost is daring Chykka's strike right now." And saying, "Hey, I can trade and stun you out for big damage." That's a play. That's a play. I like that. Let's see if Chykka actually will strike into that, though. Flips the card over. Will strike. I mean, let's... Title Roll speed 8. Aria speed 7. Spike, Assault Dive, what have you. Notably, when Cyrus initiates... Oh, interesting. Goes for the Dredge Fury? So the Dredge Fury trades with Sweep. Which has... So, how Dredge Fury works, it costs 1. And you can spend up to 3 gauge. Unfortunately, he only has 2 gauge, so you actually can't pop the Sweep. So, super unfortunate there. And actually will stun out Cyrus in the end. So, huge combat win for Hazama here, excuse me. Yeah, that's... Oh, no! Huge combat win for Cyrus! Opulence, I forgot about Opulence. So Opulence reads, your attacks have hit if you have a continuous boost in play, +1 power. So, yeah. Big win for Cyrus here. Wow. So Polter dared Chykka to strike there. Chykka does, and he strikes in a big way. Returns cross to hand, will do 7 damage, popping the Sweep. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. And Sweep gets stunned. No draw. +2 power, down the drain. Second Devouring Fang, down the drain. Big win there for Chykka. I apologize, I should have seen that one coming. We didn't actually look at the Siren Call transformation, so I kind of forgot about it. We'll actually look at the other transformations now. So this one, you can discard a boost to strike, which is actually super good, I think. Like, that's good late game for Cyrus. Action compression is always super nice. And then we have this one where you could play instant boost from gauge. This is the one that like always gets me because you can play focus 3 times now. Because you can get focus into your gauge through like numerous abilities. Polter now boosting +2 power again. Last one didn't go so well, but now I have significant life disadvantage here against a Cyrus who's not quite set up. Not a ton of... I mean, a lot of that gauge went to... Or all the gauge went to that last strike. So Cyrus does have to set up again a little bit. Only has the 1 transform out so far, but is looking pretty dominant from a life total perspective. Yeah, apologies. I missed the Opulence. Adding that extra power to stun out the Sweep. That is a tough dare that Hazama took there, and unfortunately did not work out for him. Chykka striking into the +2 power. Maybe he sees the Sweep from the last combat and decides, hey, maybe now's the time to title roll, defuse the +2 power, and get out of there. This, to me, it screams title roll. Maybe my read's off here, and maybe it's a spike, but screams title roll to me. Especially when you know EX Falling Fang is no longer a threat. Polter with the Wild Swing. It's Cross. Okay, Cross also, like, similar concept. Get out of there. Uh, do not interact with the +2 power. Cyrus now at range 6, where, I mean, he has a move that hits at range 6, right? He has Siren Call. On top of that, he's Dredge Fury. Although Dredge Fury is for pretty low value here. But he has the range 6 Fireball. Hosma does not have any Fireballs, so we'll have to move in soon, lest he risks getting hit from long range by Cyrus. I believe it is now Polter's turn. He's looking at that Exceed side. Don't think now is the time to Exceed. You're in a little bit of a poor position. You're a little bit too far away to Exceed. Obviously, on Exceed side, you can place your Ouroboros further up, and that's one way to close a gap or move in. But at range 6, your Ouroboros would end up here at range 4, and I don't think that's good enough, especially at this rather large life deficit. Yeah, Bolter taking his time here. Always good to do. No timers on this tournament. We did have timers in the last one. Let me tell you, those timer rules were not good, but we had them. Okay, this is one way to advance. Serpent's Redemption. Your force costs are reduced by 1, but now you can advance or retreat 2. Moves to range 4, which is not like fantastic for Hosma, but is better than range 6, right? This is a way that is rather cheap to move into range, so it seems fine. Also, the force cost reduction by 1 is nice for 4 specials and, of course, the innate ability on offense. I would not be surprised to see Chykka strike into this anyway. Chykka has a range 5, range 4, speed 5 option in Arya, which performs quite well here in this particular scenario. Would not be surprised. Actually, no, does not perform as well because Eternal Coils of the Dragon Serpent is the thing. I believe we have not seen either one of those drop. So this range 4 is actually threatening this. So this is an ultra that you can boost with additional force. And Hosma has a ton of force available to him. 6 cards in hand, 4 cards engage. So this is actually a little bit of a threat here. And EX is on the table, I believe. Chykka just preps in response. A little slow here. Maybe we see Eternal Coils come out right away here as a strike from Hosma, if I had to guess. Opting for the Ouroboros here. Ouroboros is free with this innate, so it makes perfect sense to me. I think this is just Eternals. I think this is just the Ultra, though, personally. Gets a free force on this as well, so it'll be 4 damage without spending anything. And this is a decent comeback tool, although he will have to spend a lot of hand for it. So it's not as good as you would think, just because the life deficit is so large. It actually can't be overcome by this one card. And if you get close, you spend a lot of your hand to do so. So maybe not as good as we originally thought it would be, but still a dominant combat option in terms of speed. So yeah, maybe it's not that. I mean, I still think it's probably that, but maybe it's not. The Ouroboros to range 3 introduces options like, of course, Falling Fang and Hungry Coils to Rising Fang as well. Though I believe both the Rising Fangs were spent. Either that or one Rising Fang still in the hand. Rising Fang would be an interesting combat here, actually. Relatively safe. You get 4 armor. Forearmer if it's a faster, or if it's a slower attack, excuse me. So Chykka has title roll. I guess the Falling Fang. Okay, and it is the legitimate one. So the Falling Fang free will beat out the title roll on defense. Normally would cost a force, but the force costs are reduced by 1. Yeah, great boosts overall. Like, these boosts are very good. They don't look super good, but they're very good. We saw Zolt with the similar boosts like this also being very beneficial for him. Cyrus will take 3. I believe Hazma will decline to push Cyrus, keeping him at range 3, and will take advantage. So a little bit of a combat win there from Hazma. And just Officer prepare. So yeah, I'm assuming Hazma there having the same thoughts that we had of saying, hey, this Eternal Close of the Dragon Circuit there, while it looks super good and is flashy and wins combat, actually is super expensive for it to be meaningful, and opts not for that play. Which makes complete sense to me. I agree with that. Get back to Chykka here. Hasma not looking so far behind anymore. Has a ton of cards in hand as well. Chykka has a life advantage, no gauge, but has a lot of cards in hand. No transforms yet, so the EX, not the Exceed action, the EXCEED action, as I very clearly meant to say, the Exceed action is still a little bit a ways away. Although, maybe, I don't know if Chykka actually, so Hazma's gone through a lot of his deck. I actually was not paying attention to Chykka. Chykka still has a ton of cards left. So, EX transformations still probably left in here. As far as the Arya and the Albatross Talon are concerned. Hazma now notably down both Falling Fangs. Important to note, but also Hazma still has the Speed 6 Ultra. So yeah, we like keeping track of those cards, but Hazma still has the Speed 6 Ultra. I believe Cyrus has 1 copy of Title Roll left in the deck / hand. But yeah, this actually turned out to be a super interesting matchup between two like kind of mid-range characters. I don't really know how to define mid-range. They're not really zoners. Cyrus is kind of a zoner, I guess. Cyrus can zone, but he doesn't. I mean, Cyrus has fireballs, but yeah, and Hazma, who really likes standing at that range 2 to 3, as I said earlier. So a really interesting matchup so far. Quite happy to catch this match. I believe both players are no longer in contention for playoffs. Unfortunately, I think they're both 2-2 or something like that. So I don't think they're in contention for playoffs. But these are two pretty strong players. Polter, I believe, last tournament would just like miss out a top 8. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it's the other Polter. I don't remember. And Chykka, of course, got 3rd or 4th at the OG Jungy's Japes tournament. So both two strong players here, giving us an interesting matchup to kind of analyze and go through. I believe it is Chykka's turn here. No, it's no. So with the advantage, of course, Hazma prepared. Back to Chykka. Chykka checking discards here. A lot of Hazma's options are down, and 7 cards in hand, 3 cards in deck. Something like a reading would be pretty likely to hit here, if that is an option available to Chykka at this time. Man, I can't believe I forgot about the Opulence transform, giving that +1 power. That is my bad on that. Really well calculated from Chykka there. Able to pop the 6 guard on that sweep. Huge combat win. Like, the game would be completely different if that wasn't the case. Hazma would be at a similar health total to Cyrus, and things would be a lot different now. But as it stands, Cyrus with the significant health lead, thinking about what to do, mousing over those cards, mousing pretty violently over those cards. He's like, just all over the place. Let's see what Chykka decides to do. Polter now taking a look at Chykka's discard. Okay, Chykka opts to spend 1 force to move to range 4. Okay. Range 4 better for Cyrus than Hosmov, of course. Hosmov only having the Venom Sword and the Dive at range 4, unless he initiates and puts an Ouroboros here. Which he did, Polter did use that before, and has significant resources to do that now. But of course, we cannot forget about Eternal Coils of the Dragon Serpent. Pretty goofy card. It like yanks them back and forth over and over. I wonder if I'm assuming that's like a flavor reason why that happens, but that is like super goofy, where you just like pull 8, pull 8, pull 8, pull 8, pull 8. It's kind of weird, but it's probably because it's a move in BlazBlue. I've only played a couple games of BlazBlue. I played BlazBlue, the older one. What is it? CF? I don't remember the name. I played a couple games of that. I played Tager. Tager's fun. He seemed kind of bad, but he was fun. I normally don't gravitate to grappler type characters in fighting games, like in Street Fighter 4. Like in Ultra, I main Evil Ryu, so like not a grappler character by any means, but Tager was kind of interesting. As we've run out of things to talk about, so now we're patiently waiting for elegance in action to make an elegant move in action. Sorry about that. He's looking at he's scrubbing discards pretty heavily now too. This is the second time he's looking at discards. He's now actually looks like he's actually counting out card by card what's left and what is not. Yeah, and there's the reading coming out. Chykka's or Polter's looks like it's much less likely to hit than Chykka's potential reading, but let's see it. Not an unsuccessful reading. We can take a look at the hand here. We have a hand of EX Aria, Title Roll, Siren Call, 1/2. So depending on what was read, we'll see something like an EX Aria come out, or like a Title Roll is safe. Oh, Title Roll, we're at range 4, excuse me. So this could be the... So the thing is, the only downside is this could be the Ultra, depending on what it was called. And the Ultra beats a lot of things. It's a range 4, speed 6. So we have EX Aria, we have a Title, we have a Siren, and we have 1/2. So don't know if Ultra is in the cards here for Hosmod. Again, depends on what was called. If it was the Ultra, maybe something like Focus to mitigate damage. Although Focus could be a way for you to get back into the game a little bit. Like a reading something into your EX Aria. It's a little bit of damage, you get a little bit of recursion. You get that transform out, so that way you can maybe flip to backside where instead of gauge you get power. Maybe that's the win con for Cyrus. Yeah, tough combat here actually. Just because that one Ultra that we're talking about. I mean, we talked about having fun. Yeah, is a good boost. Eternal Coils of the Dragon Serpent. Not the best looking Ultra, not the most impressive looking Ultra, but hey, 4 range 6 speeder is pretty good. Pretty good indeed. So Chykka looks like he's deciding how to deal with... I'm assuming this combat hasn't gone fast enough because he's assuming that this is the Ultra, and Chykka doesn't really have the best way to deal with that. Like, he has to deal with it with, like, you can mitigate damage with Focus. You can force Chykka, or you can force Polter to spend cards with a card like Sweep with Guard. So you can force Polter, to spend Force to pop the Guard on Sweep. Yeah, Chykka really thinking about this one. Could be an important combat in theory, because the life swing on this Focus could be pretty big, depending on what was spent by Polter. The response is 1 Aria against the Dive. Okay, so Aria will beat the Dive. Polter going for a little bit of a Hail Mary there, if I do say so myself. Like we don't know what was read, unfortunately, but 6 cards in hand, 10 left in the deck. So even if something was called with 2 copies left, still not the highest percentage. It was pretty high percent, but looks like Chykka will turn block to hand and will transform Reckless Greed. So let's take a look at this transform. Once per turn, after resolving an action that does not cause a strike, you can discard one of your boosts from play to strike. So this is a little bit of that action compression that we were talking about. Chykka immediately parrying a card. Parries that Ultra that we were talking about. Makes sense to me. Polter immediately prepping in response, I believe. So now it's back to Chykka. Chykka now has that boost, so he can discard a boost to strike. I'm assuming this is... Unless there's no normals left in the 6 cards, this has got to be a reading to happen. Chykka telling me that was permitted. We say all good. That's totally fine. I was talking to these guys beforehand. All good. Chykka looking at that discard. I'm assuming this has got to be a reading coming out here. With only that 1 card left. Well, actually, with the hand, there's not a super high damaging option, right? So it's like reading like wins a combat and deals like 4 damage. Maybe that's enough given the huge health discrepancy already. Maybe Chykka doesn't read here, just because there's no high damage threat in his hand. Although I feel like both Albatross Talons are in the bottom of the deck, for example. I don't think we've seen one of those yet. That's like an example of a card that does pretty decent damage. It's 5 damage. You get a card on it as well. Like that's an example of like a high damage reading. But something like an Aria isn't super high damage, although you can, in theory, return your focus, right? So I believe there's a focus in here. So maybe that's a win con, like a reading into a reading. That doesn't... It depends on how many normals Polter has in hand. And if Polter allows... I mean, Polter can diffuse the second reading, of course, by changing cards his whole hand. And hopefully this last card is not a normal. So let's see if Chykka thinks that the reading is high enough value to be played here. Because it does land, 86% of the time? Unless there's a copy of a normal there's a normal with 2 copies left, in which case this lands 100% of the time. But let's see if Chykka takes the 86% reading here. That is what I'm looking out for in this case. Yep, decides that's enough. Reads something. Hits it. Hits the spike, and this is going to be what, like an Aria? No, he gets the Albatross Talon. Big damage here, ignoring the guard on the spike. That focus will go to Gauge as well. Now can be used again via Memories of the Deep. Which was just transformed on Albatross Talon. Huge combat win. Polter takes 5. And is now staring down the barrel of another reading on the turn afterward. Reshuffle action coming here. Hopefully there are no normals left in this. Hosmo will now draw the Astral. The Astral I don't think makes a huge difference. Cyrus succeeds for free. So this is kind of the game finisher here. When you seed, add your continuous boost to your Gauge, and after resolving instant boost, it can go into play as a face-down continuous boost that reads +1 power. So instead of Gauge, you are now building extra damage to end the game, and additionally you have movement on top of that. So yeah, good stuff here. And coupled with reckless greed, you can even like you can do the same thing that you can do on front side, which is play a boost, resolve it, and then and actually no, I don't think you can do the turn after. You can reckless greed in theory, so maybe not so good, but yeah, Chykka looking to finish the game off here. Healthy life lead, similar amount of cards in hand, fully transformed, ready to go. Look at this blue man, good looking guy here. Burst action coming from Polter here. Looking for something to save him. Plus 2 power at range 4 implies that ultra, the eternal coils. But you can in theory Memories of the Deep your parry, right? So you can play this instant boost from your gauge. You can parry the ultra, and then you can parry. So on top of that, you not only that, he has parry and focus in here, right? He can parry Exodia, right? So that's the term for saying parrying nothing, to take a peek at the hand, and then the turn after can play the reading as well, right? Alternatively, you can play a boost here, so that way you can play the parry from the gauge, discard this boost to strike. Hazma, seeing that, responds with EX something. So, is this EX serpent thing? It is. Unfortunately, this Aria is not fast enough for it. So, yeah, EX Serpent is speed 7. This Aria was speed 7. A little bit of a scratcher there. Maybe just wanted to throw that Aria out. This is going to be big damage coming here on this Ultra. So this is 4 power plus the plus 2 power already here. And let's see if Polter opts to spend Force to enhance the power on this attack. So you can do up to 11 damage by discarding 5 Force. I don't know if he's going to spend the full 5 Force. I think he's going to spend some Force for sure. Discards a Devouring Fang. That's 1. So that's 1 pull. Is just going to spend the 1, so that will be 7 power total. Cyrus goes to the other side of the board. Can no longer do the play that I was discussing because there's no instant boost available. But, yeah, that play is still an option for Cyrus to end the game if he puts another continuous boost from his hand. Or something like that. Or in theory, could he boost... Can he boost Riptide? Oh no, because it seals. So no, you can't do like Riptide into that. That seems too good. Cyrus striking here immediately. That EX coils means that it's no longer a threat. So even though he spent the Aria of the Winds, can threaten some. So Aria of the Winds obviously gone because 1 copy in the discard just spent, and 1 copy is transformed. So that's no longer an option. But something like a Siren Call performs okay. Dive performs okay, I guess. I'm surprised to see nothing. Surprised to see he's not going for like the block focus play. Maybe it's a little bit too slow for his taste. I don't know. But the play, just to reiterate, is to play some sort of continuous boost. Then on the turn after, resolve parry from hand with Memories of the Deep. And because he's not causing an action, he can Use Reckless Greed to discard that continuous boost tag he's in play. To strike. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. Just ignore me. You have to do this the turn after, so I guess it is too slow. You can't like block and focus on the same turn. You have to do it on separate turns. I mean, just ignore me. If you couldn't tell, I'm not a Cyrus player, so yeah, that seemed way too good. I guess in retrospect, that kind of. It's still insane that he can like parry and then focus the turn after, but and like he has a lot of focuses, right? Because he can turn Gauge into a reading. So just a block here against the Siren Call. Relatively pain-free here. Notably, Hazama will not get stunned, so he will not be pulled, regardless of how much force Hazama decides to spend. This is a 4-power Siren Call. No continuous boosts in place, so no opulence. Yeah, I thought that the blocking the focus thing, yeah, you can't do that. That's illegal. That's illegal. You can, however, like parry Exodia to see like what their hand is and then like deal with it accordingly. As I'm assuming Hazama... So Hazama actually has a semi-relevant decision here, spending from hand or spending from Gauge. If he spends from hand, then he can do something like Exceed to heal. So there's a semi-relevant decision here, whether he wants to spend a force from hand. And it looks like he's actually thinking about doing so. Hazama Exceed, another good way to spend your Gauge. Of course, like we were discussing. Actually opts to take the 2, not spending from hand or Gauge. Gets that 4 Gauge now. I'm assuming there's going to be an Exceed action coming this turn. No Exceed, just a strike. Okay. Strike with no Ouroboros. Now, this, yeah. So this is like Dive or Venom Sword. It is the Venom Sword. The Venom Sword will beat the Spike cleanly. Yeah, this makes sense to me. We saw both Arias down. The only thing that could stop that was like EX Dredge Fury was an option. But not an option, actually, because one Dredge Fury is stuck in the Gauge. So Cyrus actually doesn't have a ton of cards left in his deck. He hasn't reshuffled yet, has he? Yeah, I don't think Cyrus is reshuffled. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hasn't. So, like, options are becoming more and more known for... I mean, regardless of whether he's reshuffled or not, options are becoming more and more known for Hazama. Cyrus's options are, of course, being known more and more for Hazama. Hazama, like, slowly making this comeback happen, but this feels like an advantage state for Cyrus still. Needs, like, 2-3 more reads to make things happen. Actually, no. In theory, if Cyrus doesn't strike here, Hazama gets to Exceed. And Hazama exceeding gives him that life drain. It feels a little slow, but maybe it's fine. I'm not really 100% sure which win con Polter is going to use or try to go for here as Hazama. Yeah, certainly a more interesting game 1 than I thought would happen, because early games it was all about Cyrus, but Hazama has brought this back. He has brought this back. As both players check each other's discards here. Hazama has a bunch of cards left available to him. Cyrus not so much, only has 3 in hand, 6 in deck. Maybe thinking of a reshuffle action, maybe for Cyrus coming out. Get those range 4 options back into the deck, maybe. The only thing is you are allowing Hazama to initiate at range 3. Both Falling Fangs are in the Gauge, however, they've been stuck there. after the reshuffle. A little bit unfortunate. That's such a good card. Polter going through the discard one more time of Chykka. Maybe this is the reshuffle option coming out. I wonder if I should start uploading that other video. No, I can't. The only thing is I can't start uploading it because I have to do a little bit of editing as the reshuffle actually does come out from Chykka. At least I think I have to do a little bit of editing on it. As Polter quickly prepares back to Chykka now. Yeah, I think. Oh, I hope you can't hear that. This is me like opening and closing my chapstick. It was not chapstick. It's like EOS brand. EOS, yeah. I hope you can't. I hope that doesn't come out on the mic. It probably will. I dropped my phone a couple times ago, a couple of videos ago, right at the start of a video, and it was super loud. This mic picks up pretty well, all things considered. So I hope it doesn't come on the video. If it does, I do apologize, but yeah, I mean, not much I can do now about it. I don't know if I've been doing it all game long. If I have, my bad. My bad. Chykka maybe thinking about spending Riptide as an action from his gauge to draw a bunch of cards, maybe trick Hazama into drawing a bunch of cards for a reading or something. I don't know. But the game's, in theory, is slowly slipping away from Cyrus. 2-1 combats in a row from Hazama has brought this back. First the EX Ultra and then the Venom Sword, of course. Yeah, Chykka looking at that discard, maybe thinking now's that time for that play. He's bouncing over it. He's thinking about it. He's really thinking about it. You're really giving this a good think. Chykka is. I hope I can make these longer games interesting because this is a pretty slow game. It's been over an hour, I believe. I hope I can make these games interesting because there are long gap, and it's not the fault of the players. I play the same way, but there are like long gaps in between the action where I feel like I'm not talking a whole lot about the game. But I hope you guys do enjoy this, and if you don't, feel free to just skip past this. Maybe I'll put okay. And out comes the parry from Chykka from the gauge, parrying something. Let's see if the parry is successful or not. So guys, parry looks like it's unsuccessful. We have a hand revealed of EX Serpent's Infernal Rapture, Hungry Coils, EX Hungry Coils, excuse me, and Cross. Wow, that's an interesting hand to reveal. The EX Hungry Coils in particular, I think, is an interesting reveal there. The Cross obviously is Cross. But yeah, getting to find out about that EX Hungry Coils is pretty big, I think, actually. That looked like a little bit of a surprise combat coming out there from Hazama in the near future, I would have to guess. No exploitable normals in here. Cross is not really exploitable at range 4, unfortunately. Even if... Yeah, because Cross would, in combat at this range, would push Hazama back to range 7. Which Cyrus cannot really access too easily. Yeah, what an interesting hand. Yeah, so that's EX Snake Kick, EX Hungry Coils, and 6. So Once per turn, after resolving an action that does not cause a strike, he can... Oh, he can't do that. What was the other one? Oh, he just... So I believe this seals. I'm not 100% sure, though. I think these guys are discussing that now. Yeah, okay, it looks like it does seal. Sealing makes sense to me. Okay, Hazama stepping into the face of Cyrus, threatening that EX snake kick. Makes sense to me. Threat is now known. It doesn't even need to be EX. It's a 178. Pretty good. Maybe... I mean, Cyrus does have the boost on his other Ultra that puts him at range 3. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes out. Silver Shadow on Symphony of the Deep. But yeah, staring down the barrel of a 178, potentially a 189. Pretty good numbers there. And yeah, the comeback is it's happening. It looks I questioned it before, but the comeback is legitimate. It looks legitimate so far. Whether it actually happens is a different story, but the comeback is possible. And apparently has been possible for some time now. Looking at that hand, see no normals. Chykka gone. I'm assuming he'll be back soon. But yeah, look, took a peek at that hand, saw no normals to take advantage of with the focus engage, which is a little bit unfortunate. Chykka would have loved to see a second normal there, so Polter could not cross to range 1 immediately. But no normal there for Hazama. All the normals still stuck in the deck, unfortunately. So that's no longer a win con for now. As hopefully Chykka reconnects soon. He is... Okay, so he's still in the room in the Discord. So I'm assuming that he's going to be back. Okay, he is back. Okay, good. I didn't want to have to do anything like save the room or like make a new one or something. No, he is back. He's loading in now. I hope you guys appreciate the 1080. Helps you maybe read the cards a little bit better, or at least see the names of the cards a little bit better. I know the small text on these cards is still kind of hard to read, but I hope you guys can see the names of the cards better. Especially those of you that can't really identify the card based on the picture. I hope that does help, because like you can feasibly read like this is a cross, right? And you can see it because it's like a purple cross card, but like you can read that this is Albatross Talon, right? You can read like the A and the T, and you can kind of suss it together. But yeah, I'm happy to upload these in 1080 now. Well, I wonder what next week's YouTube improvement will be. Don't know yet. Maybe there won't be one. Anyways, I believe it is now Chykka's turn. Thinking about what to do here, how to handle the EX snake kick that Hazama is threatening. Defensively, the only thing that would come close to beating is like EX focus, but no EX focus available. One focus stuck in the gauge. Surely there's... he's mousing over... Oh, no, he's not mousing over the focus. Okay, I was about to say, you can't read the top deck. That's too risky. That is very risky. And the other card is Riptide. In theory, you could Riptide now. Search for a block. Search for the second block. That is an option. Riptide now. Another option I can think of is eating the EX Snake Kick and then responding with like Grasp or something. I don't know. So like you can boost an instant boost from your hand. Get that in play as a +1 power. No, opts for a Silver Shadow here. Okay, simple enough. We should have... So, okay, yeah. Opts for that boost. But now, after resolving the instant boost, he can move up to 1. So he chooses to move to range 2. On top of that, he has resolved an action that does not cause a strike. He discards that boost to strike at range 2. Just Cyrus things. So yeah, just able to super control where he wants to be. Saw the cross discarded. Does have to worry about that threat of the EX Hungry Coils, which I'm assuming is coming out. But I'm assuming this beats it. Yeah, it's a cross. Like I don't think Chykka initiates with a card that doesn't beat EX Hungry Coils. So I mean, yeah, has the top deck. Top deck doesn't work either. That's game. Game 1 goes to Chykka. Able to successfully thwart the Hazama comeback. Got a little bit scary there, but Cyrus is slippery, man. With that boost, Silver Shadow on Symphony of the Deep, right, he can move, and I wonder why that endgame took so long. By the way, that seemed pretty obvious that was like a winning play. Maybe just like triple check his math or something. It's always good to be diligent and check. I would actually take that same amount of time, so I don't know why I'm talking about that. But yeah, Chykka takes game 1. Yeah, Cyrus is slippery, right? So he has really good movement, and on backside he has even better movement, right? And he has movement with something like this as well, Ebb and Flow. And Silver Shadow. I mean, 2 boosts that move is super good, right? He also can generate force relatively easy with a card like Riptide. So yeah, Chykka not willing to stay at range 1, which makes complete sense against the EX Snake Kick. Takes the game. 1-0 up for Chykka. We are now into game 2. I don't remember. It's been a while since I looked at the cards. Not the cards, excuse me. The characters that are left. I believe Chykka has Tager and Lychee left. And Polter still has, of course, the Hazama, which he just played and lost with, has the Jin, and has the new 13. Polter going with the full season 5 cast, interestingly enough. As Chykka, I believe, has left the room, he was experiencing a little bit of a problem where he couldn't hit the setup button when he first entered the room. Leaving the room and re-entering it solved it for him. So hopefully it does solve it for him again. If not, I will just like make a new room for them. It's not a huge deal, especially now that game 1 is done. I can always cut the video here as well. If it's no good. I don't know why sometimes these rooms spawn in and they're kind of like glitched. I've also had a similar experience to this, where I've had to leave a room and re-enter it because these they're not white. These gray buttons aren't working. I've had that same issue before. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe we can just recreate a new room if this issue persists. Might have to cut the video here. Chykka says no, it's fine. I mean, Polter can always hit the button. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit annoying. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Anyways, we are on to game 2. Chykka once again has Lychee, and Tager available. Polter has, of course, Hazma, Jin, New 13. So high chance, actually a 100% chance we see a Season 5 only matchup. So this should be an interesting one. Season 5 versus Season 5. I actually have not seen a ton of games that are Season 5 versus Season 5 because I don't really play a ton of Season 5 myself. As you guys know by now, I'm a Season 4 connoisseur. Man of true culture. Looks like Polter is ready with his pick. Chykka already ready with his pick. Let's see what we got here for game 2. Looks like we got the New 13 coming out from Polter against the Lychee from Chykka. So this should be interesting. I don't know if New 13 can keep Lychee out. I don't know. As we've got 2 Mentembos here coming out from Chykka. Yeah, I don't... So New 13 is a character, right, whose innate ability, we just take a look at this just to show what kind of character this is. When you set your attack, you can spend and force the game plus 34 range. Guess what? This is like Mega Zoner. Like, this is like keep away to the extreme. Lychee has ways to close in, doesn't like the super far range, but like if the staff is on new space, has cards that like essentially don't care about range. Has ways to close in with cards like Unarmed Lunge. Otherwise likes a closer range battle. So I wonder if Lychee can advantage chain New to death. Lychee probably the best character for advantage chaining things to death, or like one of them. With Mentembo being able to give Lychee advantage when the staff is removed from the opponent's space. So I wonder if Lychee is able to give New trouble in terms of like space to breathe. I don't know. I'm not really super familiar with New. I think this is actually the first game of New I've actually ever seen. Outside of maybe one casual game that I played against someone, I think this is actually the first time I've seen New in tournament. Outside of that one game that I played against some random New. I think I played against Johnny's New, maybe. Lychee, we just saw in the last match. Or maybe we'll see in the next match, depending on how quickly the videos upload and process and all that. You know, I don't have the top priority, unfortunately. New 13 looks like she opts to go first. Has a billion good, like, turn 1, spend force into anything, like grasp or cross. It's pretty standard play. Keep New's opponent at bay. Should call me a poet, didn't even know it. That kind of shindig. And yeah, here's that standard play. There's a bunch of cards this could be. This could be like grasp. It could be that. Or not that. It could be like that. Super range also works. Lychee, while swinging a Robbing the Kong, a little bit unfortunate there. And also drops an Ultra. So discards 2 cards. A little bit unfortunate there. Discards a 3rd Ultra. Wow, 3 cards invalidated. It gets to block the attack at least. New, of course, with Super Rage, will build a little bit of distance. Only 3 power. Lychee will probably opt to take the 1 here. Not spend any force. Discards 2 Ultras in that Wild Swing kind of mess there. As well as a Reach Robbing the Kong, which is an important card there. So a little bit unfortunate there, but yeah, Chykka gets the block and is able to. It's so interesting. Opts to place them in tempo down first. Actually, not so interesting. Place them in tempo down first, so no longer has the extra range for the minus speed, and then advances 3 with cross. So new, pretty expensive turn 1 there, but as to be expected, a lot of news do that with the turn 1 plus 3 or 4 range spend. What is this picture? Which one is new? Is this a girl looking in a mirror? What's going on here? New is like a robot chick, right? Yeah, New looks like a robot chick. This looks like pre-robot New. This is actually V number 13. This is not even New. Yeah, no idea what's going on with the lore there. Maybe someone can enlighten me on what's going on there. We got standard typical lychee. Yeah, is New's turn. Range 3 kind of an awkward blind spot until New exceeds, because New's minimum range when she sets her attack is plus 3 to 4, so she can't use the innate to hit lychee. And a lot of New's cards are like kind of weird, and that they're like under curve at range 3. Don't even hit range 3. 2 to 4, 4, 2 to 3, 5. Like cards don't even hit at range 3. The only one that does hit, of course, is the Ultra, which is super good. A 2, 3, 6, 7. Pretty good card there. But outside of that, range 3, not the strongest, and a little bit of a blind spot there for New. So let's see if Lychee is able to take advantage of this. New, of course, having to prep with the super card expensive turn 1. New needs cards to function, so this does not surprise me. Back to Lychee here. Lychee uses her innate to place Tempo onto her spot and then striking immediately. Okay. Sorry, Lychee taking advantage of the fact Lychee has a lot of assault likes, and we do have just a regular assault here, so this will be 4 damage and advantage for Lychee. News: Wild Swing Assault, losing the speed tie, of course. Back to Lychee. Now at range 1. A little bit close. But yeah, as Mix was explaining in the other Lychee game, Lychee has a lot of assault likes, so range 3 makes sense here. Lychee uses her turn to place Tempo onto herself, and then places it onto New. So now threatening that +1 power, advantage chain. Just typical Lychee things. New preparing again. A little bit low tempo here. Probably going to see... Nope, just a defend coming out from Lychee. Bolstering those attacks that we were talking about earlier. Range 1 now, I think like a second assault is fine at range 1 with the appropriate defenses. New stuck here a little bit. Has not moved out of the range 1 yet. Maybe will opt to do so this turn. Doubly good. I'm assuming there's no cross in hand, because I think if New has cross in hand, she slams it down, especially with the staff on her spot. Maybe I'm incorrect in saying that though. But yeah, I feel like I expect some form of movement to happen this turn, whether it is movement from New or like strike movement even. New does not want to be here, I don't think. Okay, yep, and there's the movement as we called. New spends 2 force to crossover. Back to Lychee. Lychee in theory can take the staff, put it back on New. Little slow, unfortunately. No, deciding to opt for that exact play. Back to New. 1 assault down, but second assault in hand. Yep, perfect sense. retreats back to range 5, where she's more in her wheelhouse. Notably, New can use her innate on defense as well. I should really stop saying innate, or maybe I should keep saying innate. Oh no, here's the play. Don't tell anyone though. We're gonna keep using the term innate, and get that stuck to exceed as well. Because I keep using it by accident. I don't mean to, but apparently UA is not even a term from exceed anyway, right? UA is apparently a BattleCon term. So, yeah, you know what? Petition to make innate the new term for the ability on a character card. Sign it. Change.org. Anyway, back to Lychee here. Considering when moving that Mentembo up two spots, kind of still like getting threatened by new things. Yeah. So moves Mentembo up 2 and then discards the grass from hand because of overdraw. It's a little bit slow here, although next turn Lychee can move to the staff with something like reach last chance, or no, I guess that's the only one. If she kept the staff on her, she could do something like reach Kong on Kong. But that is no longer an option. So probably next turn, I'm assuming we'll see the jump to the staff and strike, if I had to guess. But before that, New's probably going to have an initiate of her own. 6 cards in hand, only 1 gauge, but yeah, these are the kind of positioning situations that you want to take advantage of as New. So I do expect a strike coming out here from Polter. Yep, and there it is. That is spending Sickle Storm for plus 34 range. And yeah, Grasp against a Reach robbing the Kong. So this is an interesting option. Well, obviously won't hit because Lychee will be at range 2, but this is kind of a pseudo movement option. So wherever the Grasp puts Lychee, Lychee will not be stunned, and Lychee will be able to advance to the stick. So this is good. Just a little bit expensive, admittedly, but Lychee gets positioning, which is great. And afterward, can actually place the stick on New as well. Oh wait, no! Reach robbing the Kong hits. Wait, it hits. Wait, that's huge. Yep, and there's an after on that. Yeah, so Reach robbing the Kong hits because the staff gets removed and it becomes a 2-range move. Wow, Lychee, what a thing. So let's recap here. Just because I was a little bit confused here. I thought this was just a movement play. It is not a movement play. This was a play to hit. So we have Lychee here initiating with this. Before, if Mentembo is in an unoccupied space, advance or retreat to its space and remove it from the arena. Okay, bam. Once it's removed from the arena, according to Mentembo, your attack's at plus 0 to 1 range and minus 1 speed. So this hits, right? It's a 5 speed move that's range 1 to 2. It hits. Wild. Absolutely wild. I've never seen that before. Usually I just see this card to smack the opponent for 7 damage, 6 damage, 7 if this sticks on him, which it normally is. But yeah, really, really well played from Chykka there. Uh, Additionally, it was quite unexpected because this was the second copy of it. But yeah, and fully enabled by this defend boost that Chykka boosts the second copy of. Just really, really well played. Good option there. Maybe Polter forgot about it or thought that it wasn't likely to be in hand. But yeah, super duper well played. So Chykka now back into range 2, which is more of his wheelhouse. Then range 1 billion. Boosts the power on top of the spike boost. Okay. Chykka setting up a little bit of a boost here. A little bit of a set of boosts here. Not the scariest yet, but +2 power always nice. New standing on top of the Mantembo, so really +3 power, but we are now back to new 13. A little bit uncomfortable positioning here so far. A little bit uncomfortable. Luckily, no tricks with the retrobbing the Kong. Yeah, New decides to nope out of there with the cross. Still at range 2, but no longer has the Mantembo on underneath her. Only issue with this is that Lychee in response can just put the Mantembo on her, but then New can respond with like another move action, and like she has air dash and she has aerial backflip even. Like she has space to breathe. New needs space to breathe. New has ample space behind her, so this cross is, while it doesn't look like a whole lot, moving from range 2 to range 2 gives New space to breathe backwards. Good stuff, and no longer on the staff as well. These are the kind of plays that you have to make as a new player, not as a new NEW, or as a new player too, because as a new player, you need to position yourself well in order to set yourself up for success. And as a new NU player, you gotta back it up so that way you have space to breathe for your shenanigans. There you go. Back to Lychee here, by the way. Just waiting on Chykka here. Okay. Chykka with his first action puts the stick underneath him. Chykka can, of course, take a second action. And with that second action, could see something like a strike happening here in theory. Rage 2 is pretty good here. Has the boosts. Like, if he declines turn without boosting, we could see something like an aerial backflip come out from New. And suddenly Lychee is at range 4, and these boosts kind of lose some value, in my opinion. So maybe a strike here from Lychee is something that's going to happen. Don't know if it's time for a reading yet. 6 cards in hand, 15 in deck. Little risky. Does have the defend boost in place. Like reading into an assault is like fine. Nope, opts for Kote Gaishi. So can move Mantembo up to 3 spaces and take another action. Really, really just solid boost. So the staff now back onto New as if nothing ever happened. Oh yeah, and Lychee gets a third action, by the way. Which I'm assuming now is the time to strike. Yep, and there's the flip, and there's the one card strike here. Taking a look at Lychee's cards here. Oh, just a wild swing coming out from New. It is the 4 wins, which will beat out the wild swing super rage. Lychee just has to initiate. So this will be 4 power, +2, 6 power. Calculates range from Mantembo. 7 power now. No, 6 power. Excuse me. 3 from this, 1 from staff, 2 from fierce, push or pull 1, and then draw 1. So New will be pulled closer to Lychee, makes sense to me. Lychee gets a card replenished. Staff gets removed, so Lychee takes advantage again. And New takes 6 damage. Lychee's turn again. We should have a counter for how many actions Lychee's taken in a row. This is going to be action number 4. I'm assuming action number 4 is actually putting Mentebo onto Lychee. So there's going to be 5 actions in a row from Lychee. Yep, there's action number 4. Action number 5 is putting the stick underneath New. And you know what? 5 actions is enough for my turn, says Lychee. Back to poor Polter here. Down again, finds himself 2 games in a row at a bit of a life deficit here. Positioning also not looking great. As we surmised earlier, Lychee is able to catch up to New pretty well here. Whether that be through in-strike combat or out-of-strike combat. New's just really been unable to breathe. Life Totals would be a little bit closer if the block wasn't swung on the Wild Swing, but I mean, he also lost to redrawing the Kong on that, which, as we saw, it looks like a super important combat card in this matchup, by the way. That's definitely one to keep an eye out for. We didn't really get a chance to look at either Lychee or New's cards before the match, but yeah, that's one to look out for in this matchup specifically. Just being able to close that gap so easily just with 1 card is insane. I'm assuming New probably moves here. No, opts to boost Alter Space. +1 speed, and on hit can push or pull 1. That's an okay boost. A little bit of extra post-strike movement is always nice. +1 speed can matter, and Fat just gets teched immediately by Lychee. Back to New. Or back to V. Back to V number 13. Or is this... Is this like a Greek letter? I don't know. What is the Greek letter that looks like a V? Is there a Greek letter that looks like a V? A Greek lowercase letter? I feel like there is, but I don't remember it. As we see a counter assault boosted? Yep, counter assault. So if their opponent's at range 1, push 3 and draw 2. I'm assuming that... Okay, it's an upsilon. Well, an upsilon looks like a U. That's not quite an upsilon. Oh, it's a New. Oh, I am an idiot. Okay, so apparently in Greek, ancient Greek, the lowercase New letter looks like that. So it is New 13. And yeah. First, obviously, you have to validate your force. Spend your force on counter assault. So push 3 and draw 2. A little bit of a reload and getting New out of there. Unfortunately, the staff is stuck here. But New does have counterplay here. Never mind. I'm going to say New has counterplay because she can obviously set her attack with plus range. But Lychee says, no, that's fine. I'll come back here. Back to range 1 we go. Huh, yeah, so that V is actually a New, for those of you that are not ancient Greek scholars. I actually took a Latin in high school, so I took another dead language, but not Greek. I think I actually learned the Greek alphabet at some point. But, yeah, I guess I didn't remember that the lowercase New looks like a V. The more you learn here at this stream, the more you learn. Aerial backflip just to get out of there. New really feeling desperate here. So this aerial backflip doesn't get... So we're not at range 4 or 5, so we don't get the value of striking after the retreat. But New really... I mean, let's be honest, New doesn't want to be there. So backing up seems fine here from New, even if you don't get the full value on the boost. Like she says, I don't need to follow you, but my staff will. It's just for free. Puts staff on New. That's what I'm noticing is a lot of New trying to escape the staff. New spending cards to do so, and Lychee is just like, okay, that's fine. I'll just move my staff for free, not lose any cards over it. And it's been It's been all lychee so far, honestly. Looked like Polter was lining up an EX potentially. These are two rightmost cards in his hand. Prepping an EX, we knew it wasn't like EX Assault. I thought like EX Supra Rage. It could be like EX EX like Sickle. Oh no, it's not Sickle Storm. He spent a Sickle Storm. He spent both Sickle Storms actually. Could be like EX Sword Dance. Nope, new, just spending one force to move back to range 4. Looks like this is where Lychee will pull out the reading. 7 cards in hand, 8 cards in deck. Seems like a good time to pull out a reading. If there's two of a specific normal left, there's like a 70% chance that it hits. So this feels like the time where a reading would be good, like reading X into dive or something like that. Seems like the play that Lychee wants to make, if I had to guess. And you want to read before New gets to read herself, I think. Nope. Actually, just spends... totally mistaken. Just spends one force to move back to range 3. So again, range 3, we'll explain that again. A little bit of a blind spot on frontside New. New setting that EX attack that we were looking at. This should be relatively known. It's not... So it's not Sword Summoner. Doesn't work. Super Rage is not Sickle Storm, not Sword Dance. Is it Spike Chaser? No, it's EX Sweep against the EX Renchan. Okay. So EX Renchan will hit first, being faster. Will hit for 4 after armor. And tempo will be placed into the attack's range. And EX Sweep will hit back for 6. So 6 in a card. So again, like decent combat. With the EX Sweep, but pushing as he actually discards the... Actually, what card did he discard? I didn't see. Oh, well. Mentembo gets placed underneath new... Okay, 4 wins gets pulled out. That's actually a pretty big pull. 4 wins is just like an easy combat win in a lot of cases. Especially at range 3 here against New. But yeah, this kind of combat I think Chykka will be totally fine with, in my opinion. Did spend 3 cards for it. Unfortunately, did EX the Renchan. Maybe expecting like a speed 6 in response, although we didn't catch a speed 6 that he was trying to beat. So I'm not really sure what was going on with that EX Renchan. I feel like normal Renchan would have been fine there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think EX Renchan was actually beating anything that normal Renchan wasn't. So maybe a little bit of misplay there. Maybe I'm wrong, and someone can correct me in the comments below or something. But it felt like a little bit of a waste there, unfortunately. But yeah, not the worst combat for Lychee. Did take a little bit more damage, but did enough damage in response that like life totals are still drastically different. Has the staff underneath New. Not the worst combat in the world for Lychee. Lychee will take that, I think. So anyways, that was an EX Sweep initiation from New, so I believe it is now Lychee's turn. Surprised that sweep didn't get like red or something. I guess there's no spike left and only 1 dive from Lychee. So Lychee spent both spikes for defend boosts and spent a dive to attack. Here's the reading now. Maybe 1 turn too late. Reading unsuccessful. We have a hand here of Grasp, EX Block, Calamity Sword, and Cross. Calamity Sword, not enough bar for Calamity Sword. Calamity Sword will be super important once we hit range 3. Looks like New just planning on crossing out of there. So we have a hand that's left with EX Block, Grasp, and Calamity. And I'm assuming this cross will be fine. Oh no! It's not fine! Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, New had nowhere to run. New had nowhere to run. And yeah, while that reading wasn't successful, New still gets hit. That is so unfortunate. That's the danger of playing cross back here to dodge things, is that you can't dodge it. It's hard to dodge everything, right? For cross to be an effective dodge tool, you have to not be cornered, basically. And unfortunately, New was a little bit too close to that corner. That dive catches 5 damage more on New. New down to 7 HP against Lychee's 21. This is looking rough. This is looking real rough. Immediate prepare coming out from New, and I believe Chykka used his next turn to put Mantempo onto New again. Another threat there. Range 1, New cornered. New feels like a character that has difficulty with comebacks. Okay, Luminous Slave, -2 range. So -2 minimum range. So this is an interesting boost. It enables it. I feel like this boost is normally used for, not normally, but like this boost is like best used for like ignoring the blind spot that New has in like range 3. That range 3 blind spot that we were talking about earlier, where she can't cover cards with her innate. Luminous Slave helps with that. I'm not sure what the purpose of it is at range 1. It enables like some of her specials. It enables Calamity Sword is the one thing I think of. It's not Calamity Sword hits as an ultra. Okay, so New, Lychee immediately strikes into that. I mean, like this could be like sweep and the game's over in theory. New could dive and hit. New cannot hit. Excuse me. It's only fiddles with minimum range, not maximum range. It's the grasp against the Tsubame Geishi. So Tsubame Geishi will win the speed tie. Stat gets removed for 4. Yeah, this Luminous Slave ended up not doing anything. A little bit unfortunate. Lychee takes 4 damage. New is stunned. Lychee's advantage because of the staff. And Lychee, yep, just puts staff back under New. It should draw for end of turn. Oh no, doesn't even need to, because the after effect on Tsubame Geishi is putting the. I assumed that was his turn, like putting the staff onto him and then moving it to the opponent. But no, the after on Tsubame Geishi just puts Mantempo on the opponent's spot. Man, Lychee's so good character. Lychee's such a good character. And Lychee's turn again. Business as usual. Prep maybe. Could even change cards here. I don't think you need Gauge to win this game. Looking at that discard, maybe I don't know if second reading is in the cards here for New, or for Lychee, excuse me. I don't know if that's in the cards. Don't think this will matter either. Yeah, Lychee just making sure this New 13 can't breathe. It's looking pretty dire, if I have to say so. As I was saying earlier, New looks like a character that can't really stage comebacks too well. The only comeback mechanic that I can think of that she can thrive at is with exceeding, with looping exceeds specifically. So New on backside, backside New is basically all about hitting the opponent with stuff and then like running away before they can counterattack on combats in a row. The only thing is, it feels like it will be tough to advantage chain that. But that seems like maybe the only comeback mechanic that New really has as a character. She does have a super good ultra in Calamity Trigger 2 to 3 6 7. But Lychee just not even allowing that to happen. Not even allowing that to happen. And yeah, New couldn't play that last combat either. Needed the EX version, but unfortunately did not have EX Calamity Sword. We saw the hand of New. Looks like Lychee just striking again. Probably another fast one. Could, if I had to guess. We don't know what's in the discard. 8 cards left, 2 in hand, 6 in deck for Lychee. So options are a little bit limited, but New Wild Swinging. That's New Wild Swinging. Okay. The Wild Swing dive beats the focus. Beats in quotes, but super, super good. New is now out of there. That's the kind of Wild Swing that New needed. Now can maybe, well, doesn't have the 3 gauge yet for Calamity. Maybe it looks like Polter's lining up an EX here. But are there any EXs that perform relatively well at range 3 that New has available? Like EX Spike, I think is available for new still, if I'm not mistaken. I really don't feel like her EXs perform well at range 3 here against Lychee. I'm surprised he's not trying to get out of there more. No, opts for a parry. Parry's the all green. Okay. Identifies that all green was a card that like murders new here at range 3. Good play. Good solid play. Always got to make sure you parry the good options as Lychee boosts 13 orphans. There's the reload. Hand is known off the top because Lychee will spend a card from Gage to activate this boost, and then we'll draw 5. So the hand will be known because Lychee has exactly 5 cards left in the deck. Hopefully there's something good in there. I guess we'll both know. There's an assault in there. There's also an EX sweep in there. Wow, there's an actual mix up in here between like sweep and assault. Neat. I mean, we saw Lychee we saw New having block in hand. So New's probably blocking this regardless. The unarmed lunge unfortunately doesn't hit. If the unarmed lunge did hit, then we'd have a mix up. But because the stick is behind Lychee and not over here on this side, unarmed lunge is actually not a threat here. So blocking is safe. Right? I'm not missing something from Lychee, right? Let's read this card real quick. Before, if the opponent's between you and Mentembo, close 3. Yeah, there's no way for Lychee to close the gap with unarmed lunge, so this is easily blockable, at the very least. Surely you don't risk dying here, do you? As New, play something funky. Try to beat out one half of the assault sweep mix-up. Not really a mix-up, I guess, but surely you just play the second block here. Unless the second block's like gone and I missed it. / forgot about it. Focus, mitigate armor. Okay. New down to 1. Lychee gains advantage. New gets a card. Lychee takes 4, New takes 2. New down to 1 HP against Lychee 17. Do you like recall the staff and then EX, or not recall, but put the staff on your spot and then like EX sweep? Force them to block it? You don't even need to EX it, you just play 1. Oh, I mean, you have a mix up in theory between sweep and unarmed lunge. One beats. It's not really a mix up because they beat similar things, except unarmed lunge beats block and sweep does not. Okay, so Lychee, I'm assuming, will recall the staff, Kote Geishi the staff onto New, and then strike with sweep. The cards left are EX sweep and block in hand of Lychee. So Lychee just trying to advantage chain here a little bit more. And of course, Kote Geishi lets you take another action. That third action, I'm assuming, will be striking with sweep. Is there any world where it's not strike with sweep? It's like change cards. Get a fresh new hand. Yeah, there it is. Gets the fresh new hand. We'll change card 6 to draw 7. This makes sense to me. Don't get red. EX sweep. EX sweep is a way better tool when it's like not known. So this seems fine. Get a new hand. Fresh options. Like, what can you do here is new. What can you do? Even like exceeding now is too slow. Because New's at 1 HP. We'll have to like, can't strike on that kind of turn. Maybe Lychee able to catch up to New there. So I don't know if exceeding is in the cards this turn. I really should check if that second block is available for. I'm assuming it is for new because I don't remember. I only remember parrying one thing, and I don't remember blocking anything. We don't see that block engage. And I think he only parried one thing, so that second block's still in the hand. Sort of destruction of WinCon? Surely not. Okay, no. Okay. New spending 2 force via Legacy Edge to move back 2, revealing a hand of 0, 1, 3, 4 EX Calamity Sword. Hopefully there's no focus in the first 7 cards here. So, like, will die. Like, unfortunately, this play literally dies, like, 40% of the dive to top deck focus or something like that. More than 40% of the time. Nearly half the time. Not nearly half the time, maybe like... No, I'd say about 40% of the time this play just dies. Because you can just read Spike and do whatever. The chance that there's a reading in hand is pretty high. It's like it's close to 40%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and there's the reading, and that's game. Yep, just read whatever and Spike. Yeah, so Chykka ends up taking the set 2-0. Pretty convincing second game here, for sure. The start of the first game was actually also pretty convincing before Cyrus was able to shut it down. But Hazma got back pretty easily in game 1. Unfortunately, in game 2, just not able to breathe against Lychee. This looked rough. This looked really rough. I'm not really sure what Polter could have done differently. It just felt like the matchup didn't favor him too well. Lychee able to stand just in that blind spot. And just wail on new over and over again. Just do new things, advantage chain, do her thing. And yeah, it just looked rough from a matchups perspective. New didn't even get the 3 gauge until the very end to do her style of not letting her opponent play the game, which is exceeding. But yeah, that looked rough. And I'm not a new player, so I don't really know. I don't really have any suggestions on how that could have gone better for her. Just looked like the match was a little bit rough. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this set between Chykka and Polter. It was a good set overall. Both good games. GG's to both players. Unfortunately, neither of these players will be making playoffs in the tournament, so this is the last we'll be seeing them as far as this tournament is concerned. But GG's to both players. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, do all that good stuff. And we will see you guys for the next one, which maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. Don't know yet. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.